你好，我是 Stephanie. I'm still in Xuzhou, and I don't know if you can see this behind me, but it's super pretty. This is just the the area behind the hotel. So I'm going to put that as my background. I am losing light really quickly, so I'm going to go try to find the actual light. Hello from yet another bathroom. I could not find the light switch outside, so and it's getting super dark. You can kind of see it behind us there. This is the bathroom wall, right above the bathtub, and then there's the hotel room, and then the balcony out there. So I got kicked off the balcony because of the lighting issue, so I'm going to finish filming, yes, in yet another bathroom, because that seems to be where the best lighting is in these hotels. Oh, joy. Right, so I want to talk about language. Let's call it language modesty. I love learning about languages, and I love teaching. I used to love teaching languages, and I really like talking about languages. Even if I don't know a specific language, I like talking about differences in languages. Even if I don't speak it, I've collected all these random bits of information about languages, even though I don't know how to use the vast majority of them. But when you talk to people, and I suppose it's a little bit of a pet peeve, if you talk to someone and you say, hey, blah, blah, how many languages do you know? Which in the industry I was in, the TEFL industry, teaching English as a foreign language, is a really, really common question to ask someone, because a lot of us have lived in different countries overseas, and so you pick up languages, right? And so you ask someone, hey, how many languages do you know? And a lot of times people will either really massively downplay the languages they know, or they'll massively overplay it, and normally it's downplaying. To the point where they would, if you're in a certain place, for example, if we're in Vietnam and I'd say, hey, how's your Vietnamese? And you'd say, oh, I just speak a little bit. And then you'd see them conversing with everybody around them in Vietnamese. And it's like, wait, why did you say a little bit? Because that's way above a little bit. And as language teachers, we understand adverbs of frequency, don't we? And so it's just bizarre. And I understand being modest, and I understand. And this is becoming more clear by the day. The more you know about a language as you're learning it, the more you know you don't know. I get that. But if you're able to converse, if you're able to converse in a language, I think you should be damn proud of it. I'm just going to put that out there. That is going to be the title of this video. Be damn proud of your language. Whatever languages you know, just be proud that you can talk to them. When I was in Argentina, I was taking Spanish classes, and I could not use anything I was doing out in the wild because their accent was so different than the beginner level stuff I was learning. However, I was able to use enough vocabulary and time words instead of inflections to talk to my taxi drivers, not just to tell them where, but to have basic conversations about me and them and different things. I mean, not deep-rooted political conversations, which I wouldn't generally do with a stranger anyway, but would I? I don't know. Anyway, point being, I actually was talking a lot to the taxi drivers and to certain waiters and to the really lovely gentleman at the internet shop that I kept going to in different. I'm old enough now that I'm calling guys in their 20s gentlemen. Oh yeah, it's happened. It's happened. All right. So the point is that I think once you get to the point where you can converse in a language despite having errors, because we all have errors, even in our first, second, whatever languages we've spoken for a long time, I think we should be proud of it. I think this bullshit of saying, oh, just a little bit is kind of wussy. I mean, I understand in China, supposedly, now, as soon as I said that, I thought of this video that I watched where he was saying, okay, well, when somebody says, oh, you speak Chinese really well, you're supposed to say, oh, no, I just speak a little. It's a cultural thing. Are you hungry? No, I'm not. You're supposed to say no a certain amount of times. Not in China. Somewhere else that I can't remember. But it's supposed to be this kind of back and forth. In English, when you say, how are you? Generally speaking, if you don't know the person, you just say fine. You don't give actual real information unless you know the person or really do want to talk about what's going on with you, or you know that they really want to know what's going on with you. So it's kind of like one of those things. But outside of those contexts, I think we should be really, really proud of the languages we do know and that we can speak. And especially for my selfish Chinese language learning, I want to talk more about the Chinese language with people that are around me that have learned more than me, or that are starting, or that stopped and want to start again. I don't know. I just feel like there's this embarrassment with learning the Chinese language because it's such a steep mountain, and I think people get frustrated or they just realize how off their pronunciation might sound to others, but they don't want to sound cocky about it. But I want them to be cocky. I want people to say, hey, I can go to the bank and do what I need to do. I can go take a taxi ride, and the taxi driver understands what I'm saying without 5 maps coming out and using a translator to pronounce the street names like I do sometimes. I mean, I think those are things you should be really, really proud of. And I know that's a long answer instead of I'm fluent or I'm okay or I just know a little bit, but I feel like there needs to be more pride in the languages that we learn, because let's face it, languages are hard. They're just hard. Communicating what's in our brains in any language, whether it be our first, second, third, or 20th, is extremely difficult to get ideas into words. And the more I study languages, the more I realize it's a huge obstacle. So I think anything we can do when we can communicate with people, we should be really proud of it. I want us to be proud of language. How do we do that? How do we get there? How do we get from, it's not so good, to, you know, starting to feel good about this. I can do a few functional things with this, or I can have a basic conversation in it. Like, how do we get to there? How do we get there? Yeah, that's my question. Okay, this is apparently a burning question, pet peeves, and aha moment mixed all into one, and I don't know what blend that's going to come up with in the title, so you'll just have to check and see what this thing got titled. But I am curious about your experiences when you answer the question, what languages do you speak? How modest or proud are you? Because you can be proud without being cocky and annoying. And how do you do that? How do you do that? And how do we get others to start doing it too? Because, you know, I don't think we should have to wait until we're like super advanced level, crazy accuracy, precision before we say we speak a certain language, or we converse, or we can read, or we can write in a certain language. I think we get to a very communicable state way before the perfectionistic idea of a language that many of us have. And I think that's where the pride needs to come in way sooner. Way sooner! So how do we get there? Leaving it out there. Thank you. Adieu. So not fair, the lights. I found the lights. They were next to the bed. What is that thing just behind your bed? The bed, not the bed stand. They were next to the bed light. So not fair. But check out this moon. Ah. This is, there we go. So pretty. Look at that. All right, I'm really going this time. Good night. I've never used a flash on a video before. Interesting. So there's the moon. It looks much bigger IRL, I promise you that. This is the same area that I mentioned before. So nice. And there is the balcony that I'm not going to go over taking this video. I hope you have enjoyed this green space. Good night.